Peace and blessings, my collective. Welcome back from the trenches to the cosmos, where we take life lessons from the trenches and align it with the wisdom of the universe. Now today, we're going to be diving into Pluto in the 6th house. And this placement goes much deeper than routines, work ethics, or being organized. This is often the story of a person who learned that their value came from being useful, helpful, productive, needed, reliable, efficient, perfect. This is the person who may secretly feel unsafe when life feels disorganized, when they're not improving, when they're not accomplishing something, or when they feel they're falling behind everyone else. Because underneath this placement, there's often a nervous system that learns survival through control. Now, before we begin, remember that this is not meant to shame anyone. At Trenches to Cosmos, we don't judge survival patterns, we seek to understand them. Because many Plutonian behaviors are not signs that someone is bad. They're adaptations, psychological survival strategies. And depending on the sign Pluto is in, that expression changes. For example, Pluto in Scorpio in the 6th house may express this through emotional intensity, obsession, deep control patterns, or pushing the body and mind to emotional extremes, while Pluto in Libra in the 6th may become obsessed with being the good, cooperative, balanced, or helpful person in order to feel accepted and secure. It's different expressions, but the same Pluto core. Now let's go deeper. The 6th house rules daily routines, work, discipline, health, service, self-improvement, responsibility, the body, problem solving, and the systems that organize life. But in Child Forge framework, the 6th house also connects to adolescent conditioning, meaning this is where many people learn how they were supposed to behave in order to belong. This is where the psyche begins adapting to peer pressure, social expectations, performance, comparison, criticism, and the fear of not fitting in. Then Pluto enters his house, and Pluto intensifies everything it touches. So these individuals often experience pressure at extreme levels. Not just pressure from the world, pressure from themselves. Many Pluto in the 6th house individuals become extremely self-monitoring. They may overanalyze their work, the body, productivity, your habits, your appearance, your competence, your mistakes, your health, and how others perceive you. And underneath all of that, there's often a subconscious fear of failure, rejection, criticism, or becoming worthless. So the nervous system develops survival patterns. Now, some people become perfectionists, or some become workaholics, some become hyper independent. Then you have those that obsess over health, fitness, self-routines, improvement, or control. Some become overly critical of themselves, or some quietly carry massive internal pressure while appearing completely functional on the outside. This is why many people with this placement, they struggle to truly relax, because slowing down can make buried anxiety rise to the surface. Stillness can feel unsafe, rest can feel unearned, and many don't even realize how deeply their self-worth has become tied to their productivity. This is where Gabor Mate's work becomes incredibly important. As he teaches, many adult coping patterns began as childhood adaptations. The child learns, if I perform well, I receive approval. If I become useful, I feel needed. If I stay disciplined, I avoid criticism. If I become exceptional, I gain security. So the nervous system begins attaching survival to performance. And then over time, that adaptation, it can quietly evolve into emotional exhaustion. Now here's where Pluto becomes intense, because Pluto's not just darkness. Pluto represents power, inner compulsions, psychological transformation, emotional thresholds, hidden forces, and making the subconscious conscious. So in the 6th house, Pluto often exposes the unconscious relationships a person has with work, service, discipline, self-worth, the body, and control. This is why many people with this placement go through cycles of burnout, because Pluto pushes things to extremes until transformation happens. And the body often becomes the messenger. Stress accumulates, tension builds, the nervous system overloads, the psyche becomes exhausted from trying to maintain impossible internal standards. Some people become obsessed with fixing themselves. Then others become trapped in a constant self-criticism. Some swing between hyper-discipline and complete collapse. Some develop resentment because they feel they're always giving more than what they receive. And many quietly feel no matter how hard they try, it's never enough. That's the wound. Now, externally, these individuals can become incredibly capable problem solvers, hard workers, deep thinkers, people who improve systems, people who notice what others miss, people who genuinely want to help others heal, improve, or grow. Many Pluto 6th house individuals are naturally drawn toward healing professions like psychology, social work, law enforcement, fitness, health fields, therapy, spiritual healing, or work that transforms people's lives in some way, because Pluto wants transformation and the 6th house wants improvement. But the shadow side appears when helping others becomes a way to avoid helping oneself emotionally, or when service becomes self-assurance. This is where Pluto in the 6th house can create martyrdom patterns, and the person works, sacrifices, pushes, carries responsibility while quietly neglecting their own emotional needs. And eventually, Pluto forces a confrontation, because Pluto always exposes what's hidden underneath the surface. Now, let's talk healing. Because if you have Pluto in the 6th house natally, or Pluto transiting your 6th house, here are 3 powerful places to begin the healing process. Number 1, separate your worth from productivity. You do not need to earn your right to exist through exhaustion. Rest is not weakness. Slowing down does not make you lazy. Your nervous system was never meant to survive in constant survival mode. Number 2, pay attention to your inner dialogue. Many people with this placement carry an internal critic that never fully turns off. Notice how often you judge yourself, pressure yourself, compare yourself, or speak to yourself with harshness. Because over time, the mind becomes the environment. The body lives inside of it. Number 3, allow yourself to be human instead of perfect. Perfectionism is often an unconscious attempt to avoid shame, criticism, or rejection. But healing begins when you stop trying to control every flaw, every outcome, every mistake, and every perception. That's when Pluto transforms from psychological confinement into personal power. And this is important. Pluto is not trying to punish you. It's trying to expose the survival patterns running beneath your daily life. Because underneath the perfectionism, the overworking, the hyper-control, the burnout, the self-criticism, and the pressure, there's usually someone who simply wanted to feel safe, accepted, and worthy. And that's why the future Chiron series I'm going into is much more, because Pluto exposes the wound, but Chiron teaches us how to alchemize that wound and how to bring wisdom out of it, awareness, and healing. And that's what I have for you for Pluto in the 6th house. Stay tapped in, stay locked in from the trenches to the cosmos. Until next time, stay blessed, y'all.